be with you. I wanna be with you.
My friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Talking Town Extra Time Transfer Talk Special. Done deal. Christian Walton is in the building. St Selina, hopefully, touch wood, is not too far away, but we've been there before when Sonny Bradley was apparently all but done and then he didn't arrive. So we're going to talk about Christian Walton this evening, leave St Selina until he's officially arrived, and then we'll do a show on that one and discuss how great that will be in League One. We've got somebody from Rovers Chat joining us to tell us what we can expect from Christian Walton. Can he handle a cross? Can he command his box? As Mike D says, he can't be any worse than the Czech Chuckle brothers. I'll leave you to decide that one. Looking forward to speaking with them at some point during the show. They're just having a few technical difficulties, so do bear with us with that, as am I. For those that have just joined us from the F1 show, you will know I had internet trouble, so I had to sit that one out. So I take my craft quite seriously. So as you can see now, look, I have set up a second camera on 3G. So if the Wi-Fi that you pay all the big bucks goes down, the 3G will kick in. Never doubt the Gov's commitment to doing a show. Right, we've got the chat absolutely popping off. Love it. Jason Clayton, welcome in. And Stills in the building. Owen Griffiths, good evening all. What an exciting day for transfers. Yes, it really, truly has been. Brannigan, that's the name. You next should be saying Mike Salmon. Coxey's comments. Love that. Coxey's comments. Change it to brick top, Coxey. Can anyone actually see the Morsey transfer going through on big money at Borough? Morsey. I think that's an interesting one. We might discuss that a bit later on in the show. I think that's a game of chicken between several clubs. Who's going to blink first? Which domino's going to fall into place? It might, for once, fall our way, but I wouldn't bet on it at this instance. Stephen Parry, was only a few weeks ago, folk were saying the same about Selina before his COVID ain't coming. Anything is possible. Absolutely. In football transfers, it's never done until it's done. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's done. It is this lady's intro. Beware. Warning. Swearing in. There she is. You better put the children to bed because the swear beepometer goes off every time she's on the show. No filter, Yorkshire V. How are you doing, my lovely?
I'm good today. Yesterday
I bet
was
you
a bad
are.
day, but today's a good day.
How's the head? Because you said earlier you had a hangover to end all hangovers.
Yeah, it was shocking. I did actually shower with sunglasses on. That's how bad it was. It was really bad.
That's shocking. Good evening, Sarah. Sarah, thanks for joining us again. Adam Flatt is in the room. Good grief, Adam Flatt is here. Vicky showering with sunglasses on. She's that hungover. When you get into when Ipswich Town put you into that mood, and we've all seen, or we've all been in that mood. I mean, Amy Downs has been in that mood on the platform, even, you know. But that was more of a celebration. What is your tipple of fancy here?
Oh, it was vodka. It was vodka on Saturday night, I'm afraid. I had been at a hen do that day, so we'd gone to a spa, and I didn't really have any idea of the scores until I had a quick look at my phone, and we were 2-0 up, and I thought, oh, that's great, you know. And then the next time I looked, it was 2-2. And that was it. Bring the vodka.
You want to try being there. I mean, not because anything other reason that it was fucking shite. I mean, honestly, it was the worst game from the point of view that you just felt they were going to come back into, and we'll break it down in a bit more analysis than that as we go through. But Key says I was at White Hart Lane for Walton's debut. He can definitely handle playing in front of large crowds, unlike Hladky. Dennis, if we don't get more seat, we need a similar type of player. Good evening, Andrew. Welcome in, my man. James Reed. Good evening, lads and lady. Another signing today. Have we made too many signings now? A lot of these players would want to play every week. They couldn't. They can't. That could cause unrest. Yeah. Do you think that could cause a little bit of unrest? Do you think a lot of players, or do you think it's actually a case of, well, you've had 5 games, yet to win, put up or shut up almost in terms of playing time.
Yeah, they're going to fight for the places, aren't they? But we've got good options. So even if they are fighting, it's good because that gives them a bit more passion, a bit more fight in there. And they're already doing a good job in the midfield, I think. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, this is it. This is the one we'll sort of get into. That's a big area after goalkeeper. And Selina's just a luxury that this football club has never really had. People were saying today on the socials, and we'll get to Selina obviously in another show. But do we need him? No, but fucking nice to have him, isn't it?
I don't care if we need him or not. Honestly, he can set up camp in my bedroom. It's fine.
Jeez. On that bombshell. Andy, we are still getting a few injuries, so the depth won't hurt. Andy, nice to meet you on Saturday. Benjamin, it's a balance. Every player we sign is no longer the gelling gets put back, quite possibly. But I think gelling is a bit of a myth, to be honest with you. Chris Boyd, the ownership was given Cook everything he has asked for. Time for him to make it work. Speaking of working, we have our very own artist in the building.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.
The Artist Curtis Yates. Curtis, welcome. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. As I was saying,
are you a vodka drinker?
No, I'm more of a rum type of person. So today the tipple was a bit of black spiced Kraken rum, double with Coke, bit of with it. You've got to add the squeeze of lime, and then that's my tipple. That tends to be my tipple at night.
If I'm having rum, a Cuba Libre is my absolute dream. I love a Cuba Libre. Absolutely love it if I'm having rum. Vodka, have you tried grape soda and vanilla vodka, Vicky?
I have not. It's not a concoction that I have tried as of yet.
Get on it. Thank me later, although your head probably won't. But it's an incredible concoction. Right. We've got lots to discuss this evening, and obviously got Rovers chats popping in. The chat is getting really busy, which we absolutely love to see. James Wood, the players who have joined all know they aren't guaranteed a start. The competition is what's needed. James Reed, the problem is we are paying high wages now, and the owners want results as soon as possible. Results haven't gone well. Keeper errors or not, or however you might see that goalkeeper situation. We have signed a new goalkeeper, Christian Walton, in on loan from Brighton, Premier League Brighton. Well, that sticks in the back of the throat considering how old I am and seeing where they came from. But they are Premier League established now, actually. So, number one, number two, break this transfer down for us, Kurt. How do you see it? How do you see it playing out from this point in? And why was a goalkeeper needed or wasn't needed, in your opinion?
I think it was clear to everyone why another goalkeeper has been possibly brought in. I mean, I always stood by the fact that I don't think Hladky was ever our first choice. I think he was our second choice that may have been told that he was coming in as our number one choice. And for whatever reason, the confidence that he may have built up at Salford last season, it doesn't seem to have through to this season because he's got feathers for hands, and he can't seem to read the ball well. For whatever reason, this doesn't look like a keeper that kept over 20 clean sheets in however many games last year. This is why it's so annoying, because this is why the standard. This is why we're all so gutted about it, because he set the standard himself. None of us have built him up to this standard. He set that standard, so therefore we are basing it off that. So it doesn't surprise me that we've looked in for another keeper. It surprises me that we've gone for another keeper and Holy's still at the club. Whether that changes by 11:30 tomorrow, I'm not too sure. But I did ask one of my friends who actually contributes to that Rovers chat. He lives in the area that I'm from, because obviously I'm from the Blackburn and Darwin area. And all he said to me was, Walton, he'll do a job in League One. He wasn't highly regarded for Blackburn. Great shot stopper at times, but too error prone. And that was what my mate Tom said. And listen,
it might be Tom coming on, to be fair, because I've only confirmed it with the admin of that chat. So that'll be a turn up, won't it? If it's Tom sitting at the bottom of the screen in a minute.
That's his judge. Now again, he's dropping a league, so I don't know. But listen, I think Hladky, if anything, this might be the kick up the arse that he does need. This might be the kick up the arse that he might need coming to this club. But competition's always good. As long as it doesn't start becoming like a Will Norris, Holy type situation where we're batting in and out all season. Competition is always good in action.
I think the noise we've just heard across Suffolk, Vicky, is Curtis popping everyone's balloon this evening with those comments. What do you, mate? Obviously, hearing what Curtis has got to say and knowing what you already know, follow on from that one, Vicky. Well, now, what do you think?
Well, I think Hladky was brought in as a work in progress. And I think maybe in time, when he's had some coaching, he will be ready. But he's not ready now. He was a League Two goalkeeper. And as well as he did in that league, he was a League Two. And there's a big difference. So I would take a Championship goalkeeper over a League Two one any day of the week. And I just have to have fingers crossed that it breaks the curse of goalkeepers at Ipswich Town. One of them's got to catch a fucking ball, right?
Well, this is it. Yeah, I was watching the game on Saturday, and I actually said out loud, in a seat that I've often criticised this very guy from, fuck me, Hladky makes Dean Gherkin look world class.
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly what my nan said next to me. Really? That bad? And I was like, yeah. I mean, honestly, totally feel for the guy, but just a bit out of his depth a little bit. And what we do know for a fact is, what we do know from reading in the papers, etc., Holy and Cornell were both told they could go. So we may still see Holy leave. In fact, I'd probably expect it now, out on loan or transfer or whatever. But we all know they were told they could leave. So maybe Hladky was brought in as that can be better than Holy, but can also allow us to bring somebody else in who's a bit better, and he can sit on the bench and be that development, because he is making a step up. You are absolutely right. And you know,
the thing with
mistakes,
Holy is he made mistakes as well. But last season we had one of the best defensive records in the league. So we didn't score goals, but we didn't let many in either. This year it's a bit of a turntable. So we're scoring goals, but we're letting them in, you know, as often as you like, and that has to stop, because it just does. We're never going to win anything with that.
No, you're not. And on Saturday, Kurt, for me, I think the first goal he can still do better with, but saving it is another matter. But the second goal, particularly, that's where you win your team. As I've been saying all season, it seems with Hladky, when the things around you aren't perfect, this is when I want you to win the team points, and you didn't.
Well, and that's why goalkeepers, especially in the modern day, that's why they go for the big bucks, because these are the people that we rely on to save us those points. And unfortunately, he's not really shown himself. He's not really done himself any favors. There's no one that wants him to do amazing more than any Town fan at the moment. But the brass tacks of it is that he's not done what we all hoped he'd do. And unfortunately, Cook did say that if you don't play up, if you're not up to scratch, then your position's in jeopardy. Now, I think the only thing that's kept him in that shirt is the fact that the backup hasn't been so great. And now we will see what happens when another player drives him on. But no, I mean, I mean, don't even get me started on the second goal is absolutely piss poor. I think when you're there going down for the ball and you're parrying it out, and I know you mentioned he's a League Two keeper, but for me the difference in League Two and League One is really not that different. It's not that big of a step up. We're not talking a keeper of we want him to go from League Two to like Man City's Edison levels or Alisson from Liverpool. We're asking you to do the same duties that you had in League Two, maybe just a tiny bit quicker. And this argument of he's facing better quality, I'd argue that the quality in League One and League Two is relatively the same. It's only when you start going up to the Championship and beyond when you start seeing that difference in class. But your job as a keeper is to do the bare necessities, and what Hladky has done so far, he hasn't even done the simple things right. So for me, give him a kick up the arse and see whether he works his way back into the fold. If he does, all fair play to him. But it's the start to his town career hasn't been great for himself now.
I'll just grab some comments from the chat in a second, then I'll bring Dan from Rovers chat in. But very quickly, one word answer: does Walton start immediately for you, Vicky?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yeah.
Okay. David and Cook gave Hladky a chance to claim number one spot. Didn't work out, so brings in Walton. Hladky can now work on his game as Walton's only alone. Louis says, where is Bilikowski when you need him? Such a hero is that man. Love him. James Bink, that is Bilikowski, by the way, not Louis. Although Louis is probably a great guy as well. James Bink, Holy over Hladky all day long. Admittedly, both are poor, but always Holy just for size and presence. Dean, just to say on Radio 5 Live tonight, they even said that Norwich have signed some good players, and the fact they have to gel, Mika Richards, Rome wasn't built in a day. Once we get to these next 2 weeks of training out the way and get the injured players back, for example, the Fridge, should we see? If he's not back by the next game, I want to find my receipt and get a refund. I really do, because the Fridge I bought is faulty. Ronnie, everyone was expecting the goal on Saturday. He didn't make it any easier to take, but we shouldn't be expecting it. Mike D, I'd rather have Bluey and Crazy over the Czech boys. Czech sounds like a bad CD, doesn't it? Andy, Bilikowski wasn't that great at crosses and corners. No, but he was a mountain of a man. I'll bring in Dan from Rovers chat. Dan, thanks for joining us. I know it's a madhouse in your words at your end. First of all, are you well, and how are things?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. We just signed a new goalkeeper after watching 5 games of absolute ineptness. Kurt's kind of put a pin in it a little bit from one of your colleagues, but I'm hoping you might deliver some more better refresh. Oh, Jesus Christ! This is a Di Cornell situation all over again. I'm getting horrible flashbacks. Dan, I sat down with a Northampton Town fan a year ago, and I said to him, "We just signed Di Cornell. Is he going to be a good number one?" And he said, "No, mate, he's fucking shit." So please do not follow the same pattern. Come back with something more positive than that. But over to you, Walton. What's he like? Tell us about him.
I think he's just a typical League One keeper. He has his good. I remember at Rovers, so just put it in context, we sold David Raya to Brentford, who everyone will see playing in the Prem now. Yeah. And that were a bit controversial, and we were like, oh, we'll sign this player, we'll sign this one. We missed out on, I think it was 3 international goalkeepers. So you already know how far down the pecking order Walton was with a choice. And then we signed Walton. We heard Wigan fans loved him. And he started well. Then he went through a month of dropping crosses, not commanding his area. Then he had another good month, and it was kind of like, it just went up and down with his months. Some months you'd watch him and you'd think, we've got a good talent, and some months, I don't want to put too much of a dampener on it, but yeah.
You've pissed on my parade here a bit. We all thought we were getting a good one. No, so what lets him down then? Let's start with the negatives and then we'll finish with some positives. What lets him down first and foremost?
His presence in the box. I think he struggles with that quite a bit. There were a lot of times when ball would come up in box, when you want your keeper to come and collect it, and he flapped a bit. He was to say 6 foot, whatever he is, he just doesn't have any aerial presence.
Right.
None whatsoever.
not always a bad thing. I mean, I'm trying to dress it up here now. He's 6'4", but it's not always a bad thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How's he show? The chat's just gone like that, mate. Holy 2.0 says Mike D. Glenn Curtis, Kelvin Davis ever any key we've had since when we're going. Yeah, but sadly Davis has hung his gloves up a long time ago. You said earlier a typical League One goalkeeper. What did you maybe mean for that? About that?
I might not put it best way, but just like he'll show signs of, like you can play at a higher level.
Yeah.
And then you'll watch him a week later and you think.
So consistency.
Yeah, massive issue. Like I was saying, we went to one game comes to mind where we played Bristol City one week and he were man up match, won us the game. And then next week he dropped to Clanger. And then he went good again the week after. And it's just, if you can get the consistency from him, I think you've got a good keeper. But it's obviously finding it that's the issue.
What's his strengths? What is he? Consistency is one thing, and you hope a couple of years on, he's a bit better in that regards. Don't mind Vicky, you've not upset her. That's just her internet. She's always doing that. But what's this? What can we look forward to? What's his strengths?
I think shot stopping's the one that comes to mind when I think back to Walton. I think a lot of saves you remember from him, they were the reflex saves where it's been pulled back and he'll get a hand on it. He could have changed a lot. Like we say, it's been 2 seasons now. I think 2 seasons.
2 seasons. Yeah, 2
yeah.
seasons.
It's with COVID's messed everything up with times.
It has. It really
It's
has.
been 2 seasons, so he might have changed a lot, but I'd say shot stopping's the one positive from Walton.
Yeah, which goes along with what Kurt was saying. You got a little bit from one of your colleagues. Kurt, you got any questions for Dan? You've heard obviously a bit more there, a bit more meat on the bone.
No, I mean, to be honest, I think with the way we've been with keepers, I hope for the best and expect the worst. I think for me, I will accept the fact that we have to go through many poor keepers to try and find a gem. Luckily, it's only on loan, so we're not tied to his wages. If he does have a stinker this season, or if he's just average this season, we're not tied to him after that. But no, I was never massively overjoyed with Walton coming anyway. I mean, they like to dress it up and say, like Sky Sports put out, like Ipswich Town sign Premier League keeper from Brighton. Isn't it? Well, like, without being funny, he's not a Premier League keeper, is he? He's experienced his League One and Championship, and he might have had a couple of appearances in the Premier League. I wouldn't say he's a well-renowned Premier League keeper, but you can't polish a turd. I'll give him a chance. I'll give him a chance though. I'll give him a chance. Listen, Hladky's not had the best start, but this might be a blessing in disguise for Hladky, because if Walton has a stinker, this might give him the rocket up his arse that he needs to know that he can get back in the side and actually prove that he needs to be the number one at the club. So if it works in tandem with each other and pushes one of them on to do better, then I'll take it. I'll take it either way.
Let's get some sort of perspective on it, because what you've said is obviously true, because you've seen him play and I've yet to see him play. But consistency, League One. When we talk about consistency, League One players don't generally tend to spring to mind. So that shouldn't worry perhaps people at home as much as it could do. But when you say he lacks a little bit of consistency, what's the range of out of 10 performances are we talking? Are we talking 1 week 9 out of 10, another week 4 out of 10, or is it he can be spectacular 8 out of 10, but on the whole he's probably a solid 6, 7, occasional mistake. Just sort of tell us more about that.
So I think about the 4 to 9, like you're saying, I think that's about there. You'll get some games, man at match, best player on pitch. You remember the bad games, don't you? You remember the ones where he drops one, and you remember. I've seen a comment there about Polk up nose him, and I think that's right. If you'd have got a Wigan fan on tonight, he'd have told you how he's best keeper they've had in years and everything. It's just how it works out. I'm sure it won't be as bad as I'm saying.
Nah, that comment there for Brandon Carter. Listen, Will Norris went to Burnley, and I had to watch that shower of shit all the way through this season, getting rotated with Thomas Holy. So it being on the books of a Prem team doesn't mean nothing all. I had to watch Will Norris for a season miss kick, a pass, and Peterborough United scoring past us. It don't mean anything. let's just get rid of that thing now.
Yeah, but I suppose there is that. Mike D should have gone for someone like Ben Foster. Gavin Guy, as a Brighton season holder, thinks he's decent. Yeah. Just to sort of level it out a little bit, I got the word from a chap called Blackburn Overseas. I think you may know him, Dan. And his was, if it helps, I think he's a solid keeper with big ambitions. Thought he did okay with us in a transitional season. Could that have played a factor around him in that it was a transitional year for you, and he was trying to replace big gloves? Because Raya is a tremendous goalkeeper. You did amazingly well to keep hold of him in League One, and you just did amazingly well to keep hold of him as long as you did. And he was a bit the way Bartosz Hladky is or was for us, almost a bit of a demigod, and we all loved him and worshipped him. So could that have maybe swayed some of the thinking there in the sense of he was good, but just not quite David Raya good?
Yeah, I think part of the issue was as well, when David Raya, I know he's gone on to play, but when he was at Rovers, a lot of his issues were getting the ball in the air from crosses. So I think when we were looking to bring another keeper in, Rovers fans wanted a keeper that could come and collect them. So I think that plays a factor in it. When you're stuck with it, we were almost stuck with the same keeper, qualities-wise. And I think that kind of looked negative on Walton. I do think you've got a good keeper, but it's that consistency. If he finds it, I think he'll be a really good asset. It's just, I get what you mean. Like when you look back at, I think if you look back at our defence that season as well, it wasn't the best. It did have good moments, but again, we conceded too many goals. They let too many past us. I just think I'm probably making him out to be a really bad keeper here when he isn't actually that bad. But
no, I think you've got what I've got with goalkeepers, and I get criticised on this show a lot for my goalkeepers because every goalkeeper is held up to a high standard, the standard of Bartosz. Now, Raya was probably better. He is better than Bart, so I can see where you're coming from. You've had it so good, and most keepers after that are trying to achieve a level that they just probably can't. Consistency is an issue that, as a fan and a goalkeeper, you remember the most because goals hurt you and they cost you games and points, as we're seeing in these first 5 games. So, but that to me doesn't necessarily, and I don't know about you, Kurt, scream a bad thing at this point because we are League One, and I don't know a single player that is going to have 8 out of 10 John Nolan-esque consistency every single game. No.
I don't expect 8 out of 10. Just quickly with Brandon Carr, he wasn't in the relegation. Norris wasn't in the relegation squad. He was in the squad that was in League One when the season ended early because of COVID. So no, he was just shit.
Poor old Will Norris.
But no, I don't expect an 8 out of 10 performance. But because to be honest, I wouldn't want my keeper having an 8 out of 10 performance every game because that means that our defence has been shite. The only thing I want from my keeper is I want to have the confidence that if there's a one-on-one that he is going to be able to block that ball from going in. I want to have the confidence that in those split seconds that he might be able to pull off like a half decent save. And I'm not thinking that when this person runs through on goal that he's going to waltz past the keeper and just put it into the net. I don't want 8 out of 10. I don't want 8 out of 10s. I would, in fact, I'd be much happier if the keeper got 6 out of 10 performances and then the match right up at the after said didn't have much to do. That would be a joy to see because it would show that like he hasn't had much to do in the whole game and therefore we've played well. All I want from a keeper is in those split second decisions that he does have, just to make a half decent save, instill confidence into the fan base. And no one's writing him off. I like that. No one's writing him off. It's a simple debate. We've been told by someone who watched him 46 times in the championship here. We are being told what is like consistency issue. What we are hearing, this is what we're discussing. No one's writing him off. We all want to see him do well, but it's the point of a discussion. No, we'd all love him to succeed, blah blah blah. But it's the point of a discussion. No one's writing him off yet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dan, it's been a real pleasure having you on. And as Kurt says, no one's writing him off, and you're not writing him off. You're just saying consistency was an issue for the fella. And you've got a friend here. I don't know if he's your friend or just a friend in general, but you've convinced Dan that Walton was half decent. He was poor. Distribution poor, collection poor, shot stopping average, better keepers at level. Hope he performs for you. And that was a couple of years old. But Dan, it's been a real pleasure. I'm going to get a few fans on now. Pick apart what you've said. Have a great season, and we'll see you next year, hopefully. And
fingers crossed.
All the best. Thanks for coming on. Amy, absolutely right. Curtis, every single one of us want him to do well. Yeah, absolutely. But Kurt, what's important to remember is, and what you said there is right, he's seen him play. I sat here a year ago and I said to a Northampton Town podcaster, Di Cornell, just signed him. People think he could be a number one. What do you think? Oh, no, he's fucking shit. Now, would you say Di Cornell was good?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So he was right. But not every fan is right. I was saying Dean Gerken is awful. What would you say Dean Gerken is?
Well, when we had him, I thought he was very average. But
I thought it was awful.
To Di Cornell, he looked like a world beater. It was
like a panel beater next to Dean Gerken. Let me world beater.
It's one of them. There's no negativity towards Walton. We're just hearing what someone who's watched him for 46 games has seen from him. So all he's brought there is his. He's not going to. I don't want him to tell me what he's fantastic at. I want to know what to look out for. I want to see whether he's going to improve. I want to see whether maybe he's going to get rid of these mistakes in him. And no one wants to be negative about it. We're just discussing it. So I think the fact that I see some comments saying how we're writing him off. We're not writing him off. Believe me, I'd love him to go. I'd love him to go in this team and we get our first clean sheet of the season and we stop having a keeper that flaps it into his own net. I'd love to be cheering on Saturday. Well, I was about to say Saturday, but Saturday. I'd love to be cheering and absolutely overjoyed that we've got this new number one keeper that's instilling confidence in us. It's just that I'm very wary with keepers considering considering the department we've had, or should I say blessed with. We've had now, and I'm going to say it, we've had Will Norris, Holy, Di Cornell, and now we've got Hladky, and not one ever instilled confidence in any of us. So it's a lot of keepers, and it's a very pessimistic side to look at things. But you just want to nail down a keeper that you can put your trust on, and hopefully Walton will do that with us. Hopefully he will.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Look, do you know what? I sat here all day today, Curtis, and I thought, right, how do I design a show to sabotage this signing? Like, at what point would I have done that? Do you know what I mean? Like, I got this podcaster on in all good, and he's given us his opinion. That's what it's about. Like that could have gone either way. He could have said, "Fuck me, he's the best thing since sliced bread. He saves everything. He's 9 and 10 out of 10 every single week. How you've signed him, I'll never know." We want to hear that desperately. Yeah. Because we haven't heard it doesn't mean we run and rush out and go, "Oh my god," you know. No, you say, "Okay, we'll take that," because that's realness, that's honesty, that's truth.
Yeah.
But we also know what we've seen this year with what we've got.
Yes, exactly.
Can he be any worse than what I've seen in the first 5 games? The answer is definitely, possibly, no, definitely no. I'm okay still. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling happy. We've signed a goalkeeper that many fans do rate. Some fans clearly don't. In fact, the other Rovers fan I asked also to come on, said he thought he did okay. You know, just because one opinion doesn't mean it's what you want to hear. It doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's different.
No, and it's like I can see Jason's comment there. And if anything, Jason, I think the pressure actually, I think bringing Walton in actually puts the pressure on Hladky, and not in a bad way. I think the pressure is now on Hladky to show Cook that he's made a wrong decision if and when he takes him out of that starting lineup. I think the pressure is now on Hladky, and like I say, I said it from the start of the show. It will give him hopefully that kick up the arse he needs, because he's come with a very high. He's very highly regarded at Salford. He had very good stats last season. For whatever reason, it's not worked out 5 games. But yeah, we'll wait and see. It'll be good.
Absolutely, Stephen.
Hello.
Bring us a positive slant.
Well, it seems like a hatchet job. I know you've not intended to set up like that. I know you haven't. Yeah. Well, that's all it seems like. It seems as soon as we've been on, it's been like, let's bash him. He's not done anything yet, but let's bash him. Yeah. Come on, let's get a grip. The last time this lad was in League One, he played 31 games, conceded 19 goals, and had 19 clean sheets.
I'm not having that. Sorry, I'm not being called. I'm doing a hatchet job on one of my brand new players. I welcome all views on this show, but to actually say it's a hatchet job. I mean,
can I just say though,
can.
Salford supporters would have said to us when we signed Hladky, or however you say it, that he'd be the best thing since sliced bread because he did a job for them, and he hasn't done it so far this season. So it's a different setup. I'm quite happy to have this chap in, and hopefully, it'll be better than what we've had.
Absolutely.
It can't be a hatchet job when we've had someone who's watched him for 46 games last year. That person who we just had on, it was his opinion. I trust his opinion. He's the one who's had to go to Ewood Park. Like, Lord forgive him, because I've been there and it's been dreadful. But he's the one who's had to go there and watch the guy. We all want him to do really well. This is not all we're going off is what we can see, what we'll get told, and this is it. We all want him to do well. I don't want him to come in and fumble the ball and then we have to go back. I don't want him that. It's not a job, but to come on and say that, it's a bit naff.
Well, exactly. I don't often take exception to it, but I did because I you know what I did today. What I did today, Beat, was I went out and found the most negative Rovers fan I could.
Excuse me. I did say to start off with, I know you didn't set up. You probably didn't hear that bit. I said, I know you didn't set up, but that's how it sounds. So
let's focus on the positives. Let's bin the negative. Let's focus on the positive.
And I was trying to do that, and you cut me off. So what can I do?
Well, I took exception to the word hatchet because it makes it sound like I'm purposely designing the show.
You were the one just espousing opinions, yeah? And when I exposed mine, you cut me off, yeah? So let's calm down, yeah? All I was saying is he was going about what he saw in the Championship, up against Ivan Toney, up against some of the best strikers in the Championship. We ain't going to face those people, yeah? Last time he was in League One, which is all you can base it on, because that's where we are, he played 31, conceded 19, and had 19 clean sheets, yeah? Quite frankly, it makes no difference what he did in the Championship because we're not in the bloody Championship. Yeah? If we were in the Championship, that'd be a basis to work off. Yeah? And he didn't do too badly. There could have been other factors in it. Did Hladky make all the mistakes for all these 10 goals we've conceded? No.
Stephen. So obviously I know you said there we can only judge him off his stats in League One. It is very understandable. But this is also a fan base, and I don't care what anyone says, but if we are going to base it off stats, this is also a fan base who wrote off Thomas Holy, who kept 19 clean sheets last year. And let's forget the defence in front of him. Let's forget it. But we are writing off a keeper who also kept 19 clean sheets last season.
You know what? I know. I'll rebuttal that. Do you know why I've written off Thomas Holy? Because of his bloody clown show at Colchester. That did Thomas Holy for me. I would have accepted Thomas Holy. Thomas Holy if it wasn't for his juggling impression. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that's not goalkeeping. That's playing a game. That's playing. Yeah, I want professionalism. Not trying to pretend you bloody Bobo the clown with juggling.
If you saw that from I'm not arguing. I can't be asked. I've got.
You can't.
Well, so for example, if we brought Walton in earlier in the window, and bearing in mind we've got this, you mentioned there, the reason why you're writing Thomas Holy off is because of a 3-3 draw at Colchester United in a pre-season friendly. Now, if we brought Walton in earlier in the window, and let's say hypothetically in this hypothetical world that he took on impressions from Thomas Holy and did his best impression to mimic him and create this clown effect. If he came out and tried to juggle the ball, as you say, would you write Walton off after joining so long?
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is, you're trying to base one goalkeeper behind one defence and another goalkeeper behind another defence. Now, this is something I'll say, and I'll not say it very often, but we had a pretty solid defence last season because it was an experienced defence. They all knew each other. They all knew how to play. Put Hawley behind this defence, I don't think he's going to get 19 clean sheets. Yeah, that's just me being honest. Yeah, I think this goalkeeper and Walton, until the defence is sorted out, is going to have a bit more pressure than what they normally would do, no matter who's there. Yeah, so let's just get the defence sorted out. I'm just going off the stats from the goalkeeper. Yeah, that's all we've got to go off right now. And the stats from the goalkeeper in League One are exemplary. Yeah, the top and bottom of it is 19 clean sheets, 9 goals, and 31 appearances. That's all we've got. I've not come on here to rap the pod. I love the pod. I love every one of you. Yeah, I just don't want to see people trying to play a player down, even when we haven't seen him yet. He might be crap. Yeah. And we might end up going back to Hawley. I don't know. But until the defence is sorted out, it's always going to be a bit of an issue.
No, but what I would say is that the 3 Town fans haven't put him down.
I never said you have.
No. But there's a lot of sort of negativity in the chat in the sense of let's be positive. The 3 of us have been positive. We've been saying just similar to what you've been saying. The one guy that's seen him play out of all of us. We brought his opinion. He brought what he feels to be true. That's the whole point, you know.
To be honest, I think some people like Walton, and I'll say the same about Jamal Blackman. People like Walton have had a raw bum deal. Yeah, they were taken on as a Premier League player as a young lad. Yeah, they get loaned out left, right, and centre. Some hits, some misses. They never get settled. They never get a place to live properly. You know. Blackburn might have just been a miss.
Yeah.
The rest of his career, he was fine in the Championship with Wigan. He was fine in the Championship. He was fine in League One with Wigan. Yeah. A couple of other places he's been all right. It's just Blackburn he seems to have a problem with. Maybe he just has a problem at Blackburn.
I agree with you there, Steve. I agree with what you said there. It's like to be fair, it's like what Dan said there. He said, you could probably ask a Wigan fan, and they'd be kissing his feet and singing his praises for how we did them.
And I have asked,
And the other thing that you've got to remember as well is that we're not going to sign like Alisson from Liverpool. We are League One, so
that's true.
We do have a very small pool to buy from that want to come down to that level. You know, Hladky wanted to come up from League Two. Of course he did. But there's not many people that will come down from the Championship
and that
to play for us.
That goes back to the point when people were saying, well, what he's good at and what he's not good at. If he was good at everything, he wouldn't be. He'd be in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you whatever you get, you're either going to get a good shot stopper, you're going to get a good person catching the ball, you're going to get good distribute. You're not going to get all 3, or he's going to be at United.
As long as it's better than what we've had, then that's fine. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes because every keeper makes mistakes. Every single keeper in every single league has made mistakes. So that's going to happen. But if he's better than what we've had, and let's face it, Di Cornell and fucking Will Norris, come on. If he's better than
Cornell's in the Championship, so I think we better roll back on that one a bit because he's in the Championship, isn't he? So he got there quicker than we did. So all I'm saying is
Will Norris. Well, he can fucking stay there for me.
No, Di Cornell. He's number 2. He's a number 2.
I know. All I'm saying is if Paul Cook saw him for 2 years, Paul Cook must know what he's good at. He must know what he's not good at. And he thinks we need him. That's good enough for me.
Exactly what I said earlier. Exactly what I said earlier. That's good enough for me. Exactly what I said earlier in a different way. I said, look, we've seen what we've already seen this 5 games. It can't be any worse. You know what I mean? Like, even if he comes in, he's not going to be any worse. In fact, he's going to be better. It's a great signing. I said that. I think I said that at the start of the show. I thought it was a good signing.
I'll apologise. Maybe my words were harsh. It's impression. It was the impression where it was like it was what people were saying, and there was no rebuttal. You know, it just seemed like everyone was like trying to say negative stuff. You know what I mean? And that's just the impression I got. I don't want it. I didn't. No,
that's fine. No, that's fine. The difficulty is it's hard to come back on someone who's seen him play when you haven't. That's always difficult. The same way if someone said to me, in fact, when someone did in the summer, a QPR fan asked me about Andre Dazelle, I told him what I felt. I bet if Lee Anderson was in the room at the same time, he'd tell him a completely different player. That's life. That's football. The Rovers fan I also mentioned on the show tonight, in a written statement, he liked him. That's football. That's football.
You get a Tranmere fan, you get an Ipswich fan talking about no, you're going to get two completely different questions. and two hands.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and Norwood and everybody, because
Exactly.
that's football. What I did try and get out of the Rovers fan though was it more of a he was trying to feel, because every goalie since Bart hasn't fulfilled that legacy, because Bart is great. They had David Raya, who was an outstanding goalkeeper, and unless he was going to be David Raya, many fans would look at, oh, it's not quite. And when I opened that question up and went with that, it sort of changed the opinion a little bit, to the point where his friend in the chat did say, "Look, you've made him sound good."
I know it's hard. I remember Paul Cooper. I'd like to forget past, and stop trying to let people stop trying to put the pressure on players to live up to a certain player. Bart was good. He's gone. He's not coming back. Let's forget that. Move it on.
You don't know that Selena's coming back. Hopefully,
Bart ain't coming back. And
you don't know that.
He's not. He's just signed a new contract. By the time he's going to be too old anyway. The simple fact is, let's just park it. If he comes back, we can revisit that. Likelihood is he's not. But if he's not, let's just not put any pressure and saying we want our goalkeeper to be like him. I've never judged anyone, any of our players, and said, I want you to be like Beattie. I want you to be like Cooper. I want you to be like Mariner. I've seen all those players. It'd be impossible for me to tell people to play like that.
You know what? I tell you what. I'm seeing some of those comments about why we're not mentioning the defence. I tell you what. We'll stop. We'll just stop doing that. We'll stop doing. We'll stop having to go at any. We'll stop having to go at any mistakes that are made, because I tell you what, we'll use this excuse this season when we don't go up, when we're 46 games in the shit. We're just still gelling, guys.
No one's saying that.
Not you, Stephen. But I tell you what, 46 games in the shit. And if you want to talk about defense, a lot of people have been telling me for 5 games that this team is still gelling. And a few comments up, I've just seen there that the reason why Hawley got so many clean sheets last year was because the defense was settled. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not giving my judgment on that defense, because this defense right now clearly isn't the settled defence that we're going to go through the season with. And clearly, we're going to have Edmondson coming in, and he's going to be the world beater. He's going to be the Van Dijk of League One, and this team's going to gel, and we're going to fucking thrash these clubs. I tell you what, I'll give it 46 games, and then when we're in the shit, and then we can all come back at the end of the season, and we can all go, well, I'll tell you what, that gel worked really fucking well. I tell you what, we'll come back, and we'll all go, the gelling.
But the point is, we won't be.
Well, but there's nothing that's told me. There's not.
This stuff that's told me that we won't be, because barring mistakes, we are 100% better than last year.
This team needs fucking. This team needs fucking extra hold long spray to fucking.
You're just thinking gelling all the time. That's all you're thinking about. You've got a word in your head. It's not about that. You look on the stats. I know people criticise the stats. Martin, you did the other day. All I'm saying is, on the stats, we are nowhere near the bottom. I know you're saying you'll come out with the usual, we're playing for points, but we didn't look at bloody stats last year. And the stats
I've said that once in my life.
He tweeted at me the other day. And we didn't look at the stats last year when we were top of the table. The stats has us mid-table. Where did we end up? Mid-table. So let's start having a bit more pragmatic. We're playing better. We've got better players. Are we better than other teams? Bloody right we are. Are we going to be bottom? No, we're sodding not. And if we think we're going to be bottom, that's where we end up. So let's not think it. Let's not have it. And let's act better. And we'll demand better.
Stephen, we can think what we like, but at the end of the day, we're fourth from bottom. And our defence last season was better.
Because of mistakes.
4 wins.
Because of mistakes. And how many of those games were decided by mistake?
4 wins.
That isn't the question I asked. How many games were decided by an error?
Calm. It's only 5 games. It's the first international break.
He's naming these 4 games at me, but he won't answer the question, will he? Every single one of them.
Go on.
They were all decided by errors. Whether it's a goalkeeper error, Wolfenden's error, whether it's Evans's error, they were decided by an error.
I do understand that, Stevie. I do understand that, but as I said to Martin, I messaged Martin a couple of days ago, and I said to him, we can listen. We can all go and say this game was decided by this error. This game was decided by this error. What game do we get to What game do we get to where we stop using that excuse of this game was decided by this error, this game was decided by this error? Because
we get to October, if we haven't started improving our league performance, Paul Cook's job gets seriously looked at, in my opinion.
Right, Amy Downs. It was in 8 months. Someone is going to be proven right, and someone else is going to be proven wrong. I wonder if Jamie Carr's available for like a live fitness test. You know what I mean? Like in 8 months' time, we got the results.
It's debates. We love debates.
At this point, we just don't know what way it will go, and nerves and worries are totally justified. Ben Moore, stats mean fuck all. If stats is all that, then hand us the fucking league based on Ben Moore bringing the F bombs tonight. Players we have, go and play the game and earn the right to win. We didn't go and earn it Saturday. Nathan, I've seen more from this team than I did last season. Yeah, I agree with that, Nathan. We're exciting now, which we certainly were not last season. Our wingers are superb, and I think they will play a massive part in us getting promoted. I think we're a far better team than we were last year, and we've just mistakes, and they can be cut out. Tim, confidence is everything in football. My worry is that opening the checkbook like this runs the risk of eroding confidence, creating a culture of fear. Unusual when Cook says he never berates players. Callie, when was the last time football or the league was won in August? And Curtis, we had a settled team last year and started really well. That didn't end up very well. Steve, very good onions. I'm glad I brought you back. Appreciate it. I know what you're trying to do. Look after yourself. Colin, now he's normally good for a bit of positivity. The chat want positivity, but nobody wants to step up and bring positivity with an actual voice. I know you're going to be positive, though. Tell us how it is.
Yeah, I'm going to be positive. Of course, Martin. First thing I've got to say on here tonight is I know it's a game of opinions. We all know that. But I think like you quite rightly said, Martin, a little while ago, and Rich always says it, we've got to have and Matt says it, we've got to have a little bit of calm here. A little bit of calm. You know, it was going a little bit overboard for me just a minute ago. And I accept everybody's got opinions, and that's fine. Kurt, Victoria, Stephen, everybody. But we have got have a little bit of calm here. I mean, if we're going on to the goalkeeping situation, Martin, I go back as far as Ken Hancock. So if you think about Ken Hancock, who was, I mean, all these goalkeepers played in the top flight. You had Ken Hancock, you had David Best, you had Laurie Civil, you had Paul Cooper, you had Richard Wright, you had Bart. No, not Bart. You had Clive Baker. You had even people like the great John Jackson, who I think played one game, but that was in the top flight. Now, all these goalkeepers played top flight football. Some of them were better than others, you know, which you get in life, you know. Paul Cooper was arguably the best of the lot. Richard Wright was probably a very, very good second. Calvin Davis probably a pretty good third, but I don't think he played in the top flight. But what I'm trying to get to is, you know, giving people a chance. Yeah, Laurie Civil, for a prime example, was 5'7", 5'8", which is minute for a goalkeeper, but he had the heart of a lion. He lost about 3 or 4 teeth at Villa Park, I remember, going into a challenge with, I can't remember, it was Andy Gray. It's when he was playing for Villa. So different goalkeepers have different ways of, you know, being a great or a very, very good goalkeeper. And they're like I say, Laurie had the heart of a lion. Paul Cooper was a bit taller. He was brave, but he was also agile and whatever. And going back to, like I say, like about a bit like Ken Hancock, who was like a goalkeeper when I first started going, you know, he was just an average first division goalkeeper, but he got things right, and he was given the chance, and he was never like hassled kind of thing, and he just got on with it and whatever. But how I see it right now is, and I'm very, very pleased I had a word with Hladky on Saturday, because the boy, I must admit, the bloke was distraught, you know, and I said to him, I was going to keep your head up, and I really meant it, you know, and I hope he does, you know. He's obviously probably going to, well, I say obviously, I don't know because I don't pick a side, but he's probably going to be number 2 now. Now, this lad who's just come in is Walton. you know, from what I've read today and everything, I mean, obviously he's got pretty good pedigree. And for goodness sake, for God's sake, you know, like Curtis quite rightly says, you know, and Carly said it on Saturday. No leagues are won in August. They're not won in September. They're not even won by Christmas.
No,
you know,
it's very true.
so we've just got to calm down here. And another point is, which I was going to say yesterday if I'd have got on, is I'd done a little bit of research. And I went through the Championship on Saturday, and I went through the First Division. And I'm going to give a big shout out here now to Ipswich Town fans. All of this, you know, what's been going on is certainly not down to us. I went through 23 fixtures, including the Burton game, which was played on Friday. I think Martin knows what I'm going to say. And out of those 23 games that included Friday night's Burton v Cheltenham, we had a bigger attendance than 19 of the 23 games. The only ones that were above us were Sunderland, the only one in Division 1, obviously 31,000. Cardiff, which was basically the what I call the bridge derby against Bristol City. Derby Forest, which is a derby, right? And Middlesbrough, who had just over 20,000, so they had about 800 more than us. So Ipswich Town supporters, give yourselves a very, very big pat on the back, because you are not the team they're getting. You're not the team as such that's actually had this club at the lowest position. Bearing in mind I'm 65 in February and I started going in 1964 when I was 7 years of age. We are now at the lowest position that we've been in my life in my lifetime of supporting Ipswich Town Football Club since 1964. Now, the only way from that, this is the positivity, Martin. The only way from that is up. Now, I've read one or two of the chats tonight, and they've been absolutely spot on. The players that we're signing or potentially signing are not. Well, not in my opinion, they're not Division 1 players. They shouldn't be in the Division 1, especially people like Selena. Selena, this goalkeeper who's, you know, got Championship and a little bit of Premier League experience. And also players that we've signed, you know, people like Edwards and Evans have played in the Championship. So, you know, let's get a bit real. Let's keep behind the boys. Let's keep the 19, 20, 21,000 at the ground, and things will get better, but absolute definitely.
To be fair, I fully agree with you there, Colin. I think you yourself have brought that calming influence, as you always do, to the pod, and I think sometimes things get overblown. Just before I carry that on, Cruncher, bedwetters galore. You best change your sheets then, because only last game you were telling people that Hladky shouldn't be dropped, and then as soon as we've signed Walton, you're telling us that he needs to be starting. So go change your sheets. Now,
don't mention bed sheets and Rich in the same sentence. Just don't do that.
So no, Colin, listen, I fully agree with you, and I think my frustration, and this might just be me. This might just be me. It comes from the fact that I am a 24-year-old Ipswich Town fan who, when I got into watching Ipswich Town, unfortunately, I mean, my dad got to experience Wembley. I personally didn't. So obviously, as I grew up, that was when I started watching the game, started enjoying it, and I can't get over last season. I really can't, and this is why I bring up the 4 wins. The man has had many games in which, even last season, I thought we had a better team than most. It wasn't amazing, but we had a better team than most in League One. And this is a man who came in and made a very average team look even worse. And I think this is the reason why now I'm getting a bit frustrated with this, because I'm sick of the excuses, because we've had many excuses every single year, and we've seen, and as a fan base, and it's nothing against the fan base at all, because all the fan bases do it. We seem to make an excuse every year of why things possibly haven't worked out, and we can go saying we've brought so many players in, and this is why, this is that. And I don't want excuses anymore. I don't want excuses. I want to see the work that gets put in the pitch. People talk as though this team meets up on Saturdays and then they leave each other at 5 p.m. and they see each other weekly. It's not that. They have training throughout the week. They work on things throughout the week. They don't just see each other on Saturdays. And
Curtis, can I just come in there, mate? I'm sorry. I do apologise for interrupting you. But with this, a lot of people have been talking about this Wycombe game being off on Saturday. I just pre it being called off, I was actually starting to think to myself, now is it a good thing if it's going to be off or not? And I actually answered myself, I think it was on Friday morning, I said to myself, do you know what, I really think it will be, because although I didn't want it off, but then I started to think to myself, that I actually think that we really need this time, on the training ground. I said it last week, actually. I had a whole week of training last week, and I thought we was going to see, I absolutely did say this on Saturday, I thought we was going to see a lot of difference on Saturday, especially on the defensive side of things. But we obviously didn't. But with this break on Saturday, we've now got a whole fortnight. Now I am gonna say this live with the whole fortnight. If come Bolton on Saturday week, we don't see a big change, and I'm very much hoping, having spoken to Mr. Edmondson on Saturday morning, and he was definitely, well, according to him, he was definitely going to play at Wycombe, but obviously that's now been postponed. So I would say he's definitely going to play against Bolton. And with him and like Burgess at the back, plus 2 weeks of whole training. If I don't, and Martin and Rich and everybody else, Kurt and Victoria and everybody else, Amy and God knows everybody else, don't see a massive change in a fortnight's time, I've got to then really start agreeing with you, Curtis.
I think that fans are frustrated because our expectations were raised, because we were getting all these players in and there were quality players. And you're right, Curtis, at some point those excuses are going to have to stop. We are only 4 games in, but I was frustrated on Saturday that it did feel like a loss to me. So I get that at some point those excuses will have to stop. And we have to own it. But I do think we have got a decent side.
Yes.
And I think in time we will play well. I just don't know if it's going to be when that time is.
I just think when I see certain things, I know someone's saying that Walton is an upgrade on both, but the reason we gave for not dropping Hladky was that if we dropped him after 5 games, it would destroy his confidence. That was an excuse that was used earlier in the show. You can't drop a keeper after 5 days, even, because it would drop, because it would just cripple the confidence. So you bringing someone else in, you're still crippling the confidence. But it can't be double standards. Just because you brought someone in and you go, actually, I'm all right crippling your confidence now. Tell you what, you take a back seat and then we'll do that. It can't be double standards for people. If that's the way you want to work it, then
I just wonder if the confidence card is maybe a bit overblown for pro athletes. Like that, you've been in a competitive state of mind since the age of 12. You've had to beat out every single person. You've been benched. You've been promoted. If Hladky's benched for Walton, which we all expect him to do, I would expect him to be professional, come back, and I know he will, but I don't expect his confidence to be shot. Like, you've got to have a mental toughness to make mistakes, get dropped, but then sort of use it and fuel it. And like when you're like with this platform, when I was told, it would never happen, couldn't work, I just fucking worked harder. Worked twice as hard because I'm going to make it happen.
I totally agree. I totally and absolutely totally agree with you, Martin.
And if Christian Walton comes in and wants 12 shots on a training session, I want 20. And if he wants 100 crosses, I want 200.
Well, I'll tell you what, Martin, can I just come in there? Sorry, mate. No, you're absolutely right, and I'll give you the perfect example, and we'll come away from the goalkeeping situation here. They'll say, "Oh, here he goes again," but I go back to the 70s and 80s because they were such good players, but they still worked at it. You go and have a word with John Walk. I've spoken to the guy. You go and have a word with John Walk about when he was in his prime, when PM and them were there, and he was the penalty taker at Portman Road. What did he do? Obviously, the training pitch was behind the West Stand in them days, grass pitches it used to be. And Walker, you go on there, you know, he probably scored like 8, 9, 10 penalties that season or whatever. But when the players went in and went in the big sunken bath, John would go up. John would keep Cooper out there, or Laurie Civil would come out, and he'd take, you know, he'd scored like, I don't know, 9, 10 out of 10 or something like that in a season. But he'd still take another 10 penalties with Laurie or somebody before he went in, because he wanted to be better than better. And that's exactly. I'm not telling Wolfie and people what to do. That's not for me to do. That's for the coaches to do. But what I would suggest to Wolfie and to Hladky and people like that who are struggling a little bit, I'd say to Wolfie, don't go and have a game of pool, or don't go and have a game of golf this afternoon,
or a meal out.
You know, or a meal out. Have another hour with a couple of forwards, and you know, do a bit of jockeying and this kind of thing. You know, work on your game. You know, rather than have a game of golf, work on it, because that's exactly what the great players do. That's why Ronaldo is as good as he is, because he is not just gifted, he works on his game even now at 36 or 37 years of age. He does. That's what great players do, Martin.
Yeah. On Walton, obviously, we do have a Wigan fan, Barry, who's a friend of the show. I did put out a crest to Bazza tonight, but he's at a birthday party. But he has sent this. Cracking goalkeeper, good shot stopper, saved about 5 penalties whilst with us, including one against Southampton in quarter-final of the FA Cup in 2017. Which does it for me. And we've all met Bazza. We've seen Bazza on the show. Great guy, knows his onions. I would take Bazza's opinion every day of the week. So, but that's football. If you asked me a question, sum football up in a nutshell, you just got it. Like you've got, and it's down to us now to watch it, get behind the lads. And just as I said previously, and Alex said, I think on the pre-game show this weekend, just, you know, leave it all at the stadium, shout, scream, and then use these platforms to talk about it in this manner. And 4 or 5 games in hasn't been the best. We've not won, but there's so many good things there. And regardless of which wagon you're hitching your horse to, in regards to Cook or otherwise, the ingredients at this football club now are just there. So if Cook doesn't work out, and we all hope he does, of course we do, particularly the ones that have backed him from the start. But if he doesn't, this isn't Paul Jewell leaving or Mick McCarthy or even Paul Hurst leaving, where you're thinking, Christ, the cupboard's bare. In fact, the cupboard got sold. Maybe tomorrow night, I'm hopefully going to be sitting here talking about Berson Selena, Edwards, Wes Burns, Joe Pigott, Macaulay Bonne, Raheem Harper, Lee Evans, who's not had a great start, but is a good player at this level, Tom Carroll, and possibly others. I mean, you're not going to get a screen big enough for the way I'm going to be feeling.
The other thing about the keeper, Hladky,
sorry, Victoria,
is we don't know why he was brought in. It could have been as a number 2. So people saying we've dented his confidence. Actually, he might have been told, look, the first 4, 5, 6 games are yours, but you will be a number 2. So, you know, we are building a really good team. And on paper, we should piss this league. We should, but... Victoria,
you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you another point I've just thought of, Martin, Victoria and Curtis, is that, you know, with the Edmondson thing, and I think he's, you know, I'm going to say it even before I've seen the guy play. I've just got a funny feeling that his presence is going to be unbelievable. I just get that feeling. I get that gut feeling. a lot of gut feeling I had of a 17-year-old Kevin Beattie. Not to say he'll ever be a Kevin Beattie, because there will never ever be another Kevin Beattie. But I get a gut feeling about him that he's going to be like a defender. And alongside Burgess, who I've seen 2 or 3 times now, and even in the defeat at Cheltenham and on Saturday and whatever in a 2-2 draw, I just think his distribution's excellent. I think he's a presence. And I think alongside Edmondson, if he's anything as good as I've seen of Burgess so far, this is going to seem a little bit of a funny thing to say, but in a way, I feel a little bit sorry for Hladky, because I'm wondering whether if Edmondson had have been in from the start, would have been kind of having this same conversation. Because I think we probably or possibly would have been, I'm going to say it, kind of rock solid at the back, especially since we've had Coulson, who was excellent on Saturday. Absolutely superb. And anybody who didn't think that, well, they shouldn't go to another game of football. The boy was absolutely superb.
Spot on.
Kane, Vincent Young. I'm trying to go across the back for him, Martin. KVY, do I think he's lacked a pace? Oh, I think he's lacked not a yard of pace. I think he's lost a yard and a half, personally. But he's not too bad. But if you've got like Edmondson, Burgess, and Coulson there at the back, like I said, I feel a little bit sorry for Hladky in a lot of ways, because maybe had a bit more solid in front of him.
That said,
But
Colin,
that's football, isn't it? That is football.
Victoria. Yeah,
and that those players aren't the reason, or a lack of, aren't the reason he's tipping it back into the danger area. As a goalie, you're always taught, whether you've played in goal or not, you palm it, but you palm it away from danger. And what I found disappointing from Hladky's point of view was it was the same mistake as Millwall. And that to me shows either we've not worked on it enough, or we've not developed our own ability enough and seen an error. Because Millwall goal in the pre-season, he did the same, palmed it back into danger. And you want to see mistakes get rectified. That's on the training ground, as it were. But look, we've got a hell of a squad, and this time tomorrow it could be so much better. I'm just excited to see where it goes. But you got the people that are looking at it as a 5-game snapshot, but not a 5-game snapshot, a 22 whatever game it is and 4 wins. That's fair. Those are facts. But then you've also got fans that are looking at it from another perspective of it's 5 games, new squad. Last year you can't count. It's just this year. And again, that's fair. No camp is right or wrong.
I think Duncan Farrell put up a comment before, and I think this is the thing. He said, "Love is so close to pain," and this is why these type of debates get so heated. This is why it's so annoying that we can't be one of these fantastic big clubs that I can't believe we didn't score 4 today and we only scored 3. Like, this is why it's so. But it'd be boring. It'd be boring doing that. Yeah. But it's one of them. Listen, I get heated because I'm very much a part of the camp that Cook has had a lot of games now, and I do think with the squad that he had even last season and this season, we should be doing better than having 4 wins tonight. 4 wins. Leading up to tonight, I do think we should have had a better record than that.
Super chat from Seek the Truth. Sorry, got to jump ahead of it there because Seek the Truth, super chat. Got to shout those out when they come in. Will come good. Great signing. He'll steady the ship up the town. I can't say the pronunciation as you've written it. Selena on the way, hopefully. Curtis finished the point. Sorry, Seek the Truth.
Yeah,
be bad for you.
No, listen. We all want success, but I view it from the fact that from what I've seen. I'm not willing to give a manager a clean slate just because he's had the whereabouts to tear up a team from last season. I judge him off the whole package, and right now he's not instilled anything into me apart from the fact that we can play half decent football, and hopefully those errors that we have made will get fine tuned out, and maybe they will, and it'll come back to bite me on the arse, and hopefully it does come to bite me on the arse because I'd love nothing more than that to happen. But
you're right, Curtis, but he has brought in some good players, and the football is better. It's more exciting. Let's just settle things down a bit and see where we are. And look, I get frustrated. I was frustrated yesterday, and it felt like a loss for me. but that's because we're passionate about this club, and I do think that in a few games it'll be different.
Victoria,
Ben thinks you two share a brain, by the way, Kurt. He thinks literally you're speaking through him. He says tonight's show's been really sparky, fantastic. Great sparky show is the word he used. Michael, we still need that hard enforcer in midfield. We absolutely. The thing is, we do, but I'm so confident of this ownership, of this leadership, because look how they've attacked. We sat on a show. I think even you were on it, Curtis, when they did the player retained list. And I lost my absolute shit. And I don't normally lose my shit. I lost it a bit tonight when Steve said hatchet job. Took that personally. I hit that right there. Yeah. Because I love this football club. But I lost my shit that night because some of the players on that list were not what I was expecting. Yeah. Now I'm going to sit here, hopefully tomorrow, with Selena, Burns, Chaplin, as I forgot off earlier. Thanks, Lee Anderson. Bon. Like, they've transformed this team, this squad, this club. So, yes, we do need a midfield enforcer, but do I have confidence in the next 12 hours? Mark Ashton, Lee Ashton, every Ashton under the sun ain't on the blower trying to get somebody in? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar that phone's red hot. They're not going to sit there going like previous ownerships or previous managers or previous scouts or whatever have done. Yeah, we could do, but maybe business has been done by now. They're working really hard. And that's, as a fan, that's all you want, isn't it? Confidence that the guys in charge share your hurt, your burden, your passion. They've seen an error maybe in their ways in with Hladky, maybe they haven't. That's up to them. But they've gone out there and said, right, we've not just signed Hladky. It's tough. It's sour. This is it now until January. Mm-hmm. They've thought, well, let's get some competition in case. That does me every day, doesn't it, you, Vicky?
Yeah, definitely. It's just a different team, and we will get there. Like I said, on paper, I think there's no reason why HMS Pistol League can't set sail again. But at the minute, we're just all frustrated.
HMS? It's a fucking nuclear warship now, Vicky. Forget HMS, mate. Jesus, we've docked her and we've re-equipped her with nuclear warheads. I mean, I'm so excited to see our attacking lineup. You could take any one of them out and still have 4, 3, 5 really good players. Yeah. Really good players. And Saturday was just a little bit of professionalism, Kurt. That midfielder that could come on, disrupt it, almost like I hate to say it, but he's still out there, I think, Grant Ledbetter. Come on and be an absolute shithouse for 20 minutes and just kick, speak to the referee, put the ball in the other corner, kick the free kick away. Just really Joe Garner it a little bit for that last 20 minutes. We're missing that, aren't we? That horrible guy.
But again, I'm also part of your team there. I think like if we carry on playing this way, without this midfield enforcer, and from what I've watched and from what I'm being told, if we only need to fine tune these little tiny mistakes out of us, then do we actually need this enforcer there? This is what I want about. Like if what I'm being told is correct, we don't actually need this enforcer in the middle because, as many had said before he left, we had Flynn Downs, and we didn't need him. So it's one of them for me. I understand that this season we have got much better firepower. We've actually got balls for the cannon. We've not just got the cannon now. We've actually got balls to put in the cannon. So it's very much. I'm not negative, and I'm sick of that there. Saying and these negative fan base. It's not a negative fan base. It's giving my opinion. It's Martin giving his opinion. It's Colin giving his opinion. Vicky giving his opinion. It's all the people in that chat there giving their opinion. I would like nothing more than the end of the season to be celebrating and seeing us go up. I can only go off what I've been given so far, and so far all I've been given is in the 28s. I've been given 4 wins, finely tuned mistakes, and a better style of play. In a month's time, in 2 months' time, I might be biting. I might bite my own arse because I might be completely backtracking on what I say. I understand that, but equally, I can go off what I have been given right now, and with the firepower we've got, especially in the last 5 games, I expected more.
I got a super chat. I'm sorry to cut across you again. It was such a great point, and I'm thinking he's not going to kill me. If we were in the same room, he'd punch me in the face. But David, thank you. Great show. Super chat's got to come across first. But Sorry, I know, Kurt. I'm no. It's their fault. When you're talking, they're paying. So keep talking, Kurt. It's like, talk some more. In fact, you got a question here from Callie, your mate King. Curtis, give us 3 positives then.
From this season, all right, okay. When I came down for the Morecambe game, it was supposed to take me 6 hours. It took me 4 hours in the car. So that was 2 hours cut down on my journey. Macaulay Bonn has had a stormer of a start, so
Yes.
I'm happy for him. And right there, I've got one. Tell you what, we didn't get beat 3-0 by AFC Wimbledon yet. There we go.
You don't like Paul Cook, do you?
Listen, if he turns it round, I'll kiss his ass. Right now, he ain't giving me anything to like. So if he turns it around, I'll tell you what. I'll go to the centre circle at Portman Road and I'll kiss his ass.
Okay, right, fair point. All right. It's been an up and down show from my perspective. I absolutely love it, James. James Hobson, you have to dismiss the Cook games of last year. That team played in a completely different way. We're now close to what was promised of Cook football. Give him time. Absolutely. Stephen says he wants on that pod. I think we all do. I think I might have to stream that, sell tickets. Super chat tickets. James B, liveliest show ever. Great, I know. It's not what I was. It was like a Di Cornell situation all over again. I wasn't expecting, and then we've just gone from there. Ryan, not really Cook's fault if a keeper can't catch a ball or a defender. It is fair to say the chat has also said it. If a defender can't track a man, which happened on Saturday.
Just a quick one, because we probably aren't going to be able to cover it on this show. Dobra going to Colchester United, not a good loan move. Not a good loan move.
Let's go there now. Obviously, a young player that many fans do rate.
Do you know what? Yes, I was going to bring that up myself. Do you know what? I was speaking to Rich about this the other day. I said, I just hope he doesn't go down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I put it along the lines of I hope he don't go down to the old people's home. I wanted him if he went somewhere. Which, let's put it another way. I hope he's going to prove me wrong in the next maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 games. I saw Sonny Aluko against Newport. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, he had to go off at half time because that was an embarrassment, to be honest with you. I could not believe how short of match fitness that bloke was. On Saturday, when he came on, he did look a lot better. And in my humble opinion, for whatever it's worth, I would keep Dobra all day long, as opposed to Raluca. That's my opinion. But as regards the loan move, which you're on about, Curtis, I totally agree. If he's going to go out on line, excuse me, I certainly wouldn't have sent him down to Colchester. Wimbledon probably been a nice little move for him. He probably wouldn't have had to move much. And they play not too bad of football. I saw on Saturday. I thought it wouldn't have been a bad little move for him. But no, Colchester wouldn't have been where I'd have been sending him. But yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah. So
Vicky, young player.
Colchester's not for me.
No, Vicky, young player, highly rated by a lot of fans. Some that also don't like him. I'm one of those, I suppose. Colchester, too comfortable, a good move. Where are you on that?
I like Dobbs, I do, and I think it's a really bad move for him. I think he could have done better, really, and learned more. I mean, what's he going to learn? He's going to the place that's got most of our team from last season, so he's not really going to learn that much, is he?
Well, no. Yeah. Okay. So comfortable. Yeah. Living from where he is. Yeah, I can see why you're all coming from that sort of direction. You would like a young player, I suppose, to move out of the catchment area, have to move, all those different character building points. But Colchester's not the worst team in League Two, although they did play a bit like it last year. He's got people around him that he knows in Chambers, Skuse, etc. And that will help him. And it's an opportunity to go and play 46 or what is now 41 league games. Something he's not had. Half hour down the road. So Cook and Co can keep an eye on him. They can keep working on him. There'll be a lot of conversations, you'd imagine, between coaching staffs. We want to see Dobra obviously playing, but developing and this, that, and the other. I think it's not the best move, but it's not the worst move. He could have gone to Chelmsford or somewhere silly like a lot of our loan players normally end up. He's gone to an EFL football side where he will play in competitive games and hopefully 41 games this year. That's good. That's a good judgment for us next year. Regardless of where we are as a football club, and we all hope the championship, I'd be more confident in saying what I think about Dobra in the summer of next year with 41 games under his belt for a League Two side.
Yeah,
That's where I'd go.
Yeah, good point there, Martin. I've got to say.
But from a character, I would have liked him to have gone to Swindon or Carlisle or somewhere where he can't be in his regular home, because that's what university students are about. They leave home so they can go and party first and foremost, but also build a character. But that's where I'm at. I'll get some comments from the chat. Gary Denny, can you really see Dobra competing in the Championship? League One is his real level. Spring Bean, you've got to dynamic players on the bench like Dobra and Barry. Jamie Reed, great podcast again. Well done, mine. Fantastic work. Thank you, Jamie. That means a lot, particularly this evening. Josh, Spring Bean, he won't develop on the bench. Leone, I've seen Louis' dad at a few games now, and he's not happy. Well, I can bet he's not happy. I mean, the boy wonder, the first Englishman to go and play in Barcelona's academy, is sat behind Sonny Aluko, who Saturday looked like he'd never seen a football before. It's like, honestly, I've never seen a player come on and look as lost. Even Larson Toure had a couple of redeeming features.
The thing is, Martin, with Louis Barry, I mean, whatever your knowledge is about football, it don't add up. It's like on Saturday, when you chase. Yeah, well, when we had them 1-0 and then we went 2-0, I'd have probably put him on. I would. I'll tell you what would they have thought when we went 2-0? If you'd have stuck him on then after about an hour, what would they have thought? God, there's a lad coming on, like he's England under 21 international, come from a Premier League club, fit as a flea. That's the last thing Wimbledon's defence wanted to see him coming on. I swear to God. I'll tell you what, I'd rather see Aluko coming on than him. Trust me, if I was a Wimbledon defender. You know what I mean? Oh dear, I do not understand why he's not been given more game time since he's been here. I really do not understand that.
You just got to hope that it may be, his match fitness and what have you. Leone blows Leone's mind that Barry wasn't put on Saturday. I'd have had Gareth Barry over Aluko, to be fair, on Saturday, let alone Louis Barry. Gareth's been retired how many years now? Let's be honest. Poor old Sonny. I'm sure, Shawnee, as Matt likes to call him, I'm sure he'll come good. Just when, I don't know. But he's not here to... The thing is, this is another point, positive point. How good is it to have a player like Sonny Aluko and him be like third or fourth choice? Last year, previous years, he'd have been the marquee signing. In fact, he's in the category of Stephen Ward, Ollie Hawkins, Di Cornell, where he would have been brought out as a player who's played at a higher level and going to save our season. Yeah, you can't tell me I'm wrong on that one. That's the sad point of it.
No.
Quentin's a big fan, but no point if we ain't going to play the lad. Callie, wait till Aluko is match sharp. Players have been impressed by him in training. Barry is lightweight. Aluko is stronger. Let's discuss Luco at the halfway. Matt Stone would have Barry from EastEnders. Gonna do it anyway. Right. I never saw that live, but I've seen it about 1 million times. Andy, hope they have patched the player analysis software after it recommended Aluko. That's quite good, Andy. I like that one. James, I won't go that far, James. Right. Shall we, hopefully tomorrow I'll be coming live with some Burton Selena reaction, which would be absolutely delightful. So good. Apparently I can't do right for wrong me. Apparently I can't compare him to Hawkins or Drinnan. Don't mention Drinnan.
Martin, can I put you on the spot? Can I put you on the
can.
spot? Pre-Selena. Right, okay. Let's just say, and we haven't said that we signed him yet because he hasn't signed on the dotted line, but let's just say he's signed, right? Okay.
Yes.
You're not going to answer, I know. But who would you play at number 10? Would you play Selena, Fraser, Bond, maybe? Who would you play at number 10? Not forgetting Chaplin.
As I always do, yes. As I said earlier, you don't bring a water pistol to a gunfight. I would play Bon up top, Fraser behind, Selena right, Edwards left, with the idea of you four, you've got one clear message. Go and fuck up the opposition, excuse my French. Just literally go and just mess them up. Don't care what you play. Just go and mess them up. Just go and win the game.
I actually like that, Martin. That sounds really good. You know,
what I mean?
it sounds like you imagine if that. I mean, obviously it's gone now. You imagine like if that lineup, what you just said there, had have been like starting on Saturday against Wimbledon. What on earth would they have been thinking about coming up against that lot? You know, oh well, yeah. I certainly wouldn't want to defend against it in League One.
And it's also nice, Vicky, that if we do get Selena, you can either bring him off the bench to terrorise a fullback on a booking, or you bring Wes Burns off the bench, who's equally fast to terrorise a fullback on a booking. And Sean Aluko suddenly isn't. He's an afterthought. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Wes Burns and Selena. I mean, it's just like the dream team.
It is. He was great. He was great in periods on Saturday. Was Wes Burns, and the Selena signing, if it happens, does provide more competition at right back. Not because he can play there, but because Wes Burns can. So Donatian has played well, but he's not the flying fullback, is he? So if you get KVY go down injured, you're not suddenly playing in a player who can't get forward. You've got Burns who can do that and whatnot. Right. Before we go, very quickly, I'll ask all of you, Vicky first. Last 5 minutes, Vicky, what position, ignore Selena, what position do you desperately want Ashton to fill, and how confident are you he's going to fit it? Same question to all of you, so Vicky, go first, please.
I don't know where we've got any gaps anymore, to be honest. Maybe another defender. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Another defender? Okay.
I'm all right with midfield. I think we've got some really good options there. And the striker as well, I'm happy with. So if we've got another defender, but we've got Edmondson, haven't we, coming on? So yeah.
Okay. Colin?
I would like, please, Mr. Father Christmas, I would like a defensive central midfield player who likes a fucking tackle.
Yeah, I do believe they still exist. How confident are you, though? Ash is going to go and get
it. 65, 70%. No more than that, I don't think. Hope I'm wrong, though.
Guys? Vision and confidence we're going to fill it.
I don't think we've got enough gel for another signing, so I'm going to signing.
Okay. I think we'll go or try and bring in another central midfielder. I think we need one. Carroll's a flair. Colin swearing soothes my soul, says Benjamin Michael. Certainly does. Colin, thank you for appearing. Chris Boyd, we're scoring every game already. Now it's going to get everyone fit. Even Norwood, holy moly, what an attack. Yep, right. Well, I'm hopefully, touch wood, back tomorrow with Selena reaction, maybe some central midfielder action. Who knows? But thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating. Thanks for Stephen. Thank you to Colin. Thank you to both of you. Back tomorrow, hopefully, if not Thursday, with a transfer review special. We will take a look back at the window, rate the business, give it a rating out of A, B, C, D, E, and F. Yeah. So join us then with love, with care. Thank you for the chat. Speak to you all soon.
See you, man. Take care.
Looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now.